welcome to Brand and Becoming. I'm really grateful to see you. So if you are listening or watching, it's really good to see you and welcome back. This is where we talk about visibility, identity, and turn your experience into real opportunities. I'm really excited about today's guest. I've talked to her quite a few times now, and what she's got planned and what she's already done throughout her career is really impressive. So really excited to bring her on shortly. I'm joined by Sarah Bolton Howard, a global brand strategy consultant, founder of Phase 2, a leadership coach with over 25 years of experience working across multinational organizations and complex transformations. She's now building something really interesting in wealth tech space, focused on what she calls Phase 2 of life. So yeah, really looking forward to bringing her on. Hi, Sarah. Welcome.
Hi there. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm great.
We said before we came live that we're unintentionally matching and coordinating, which is nice. Don't always get that. Not everyone turns up in pink, which is lovely.
Well, I have to be on brand.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's it. So what I'd love to get started with, I know you've done loads and loads of really cool things throughout your career, but I'd like to get started on, I suppose, what I'm enjoying hearing about more is what you're working on now, because it's really, really cool, but also something that I think is really interesting and needed for the market. So if we can just start with Phase 2, what are you building and what you're interested in building, and what does Phase 2 actually mean?
Okay, so I'm building a startup that is all about total well-being and how to live your best you in your next stage in life. So it is an integrated solution across purpose and identity, physical wellness, what I call mental fitness and connection. And the point of difference to what's in the market today is these different aspects are generally addressed as silos, whereas I strongly believe they are integrated and they impact on each other. Yeah. So Phase 2, it's digitally driven, which is probably not surprising, through AI and a personalized app, and then supported by working alongside human expert practitioners across different aspects of what I've outlined, and also then supported by a physical well-being hub to bring the brand experience to life.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. I think that the whole element of what you're doing, but also bringing together like the community element and actually like in-person things is really, really important. But also I think having that access digitally and in your own home is really important as well, because I think often I see different initiatives or different apps or different things that people are creating, which is maybe just an app or just, tech, which is amazing. It can work for some people, but I think a lot of, even for me personally, with what I like to do is like, if I can have something where I actually meet people in person, I just think it makes a whole difference, even if it's not all the time, but you've got that access to, I think it's important.
And in my initial research, so I had conversations with 70 senior executives around the world. I called those insight chats, because my background's not in research. And that element of social connection came through very strongly. It didn't matter which region someone was in and whether they were sort of like the lower end of that second stage in life or at the top end, there is this real sense of, I want genuine connection. So we had a lot of on the screen connection, particularly during the pandemic, and how business life has moved more online, and people really yearning for true connection with other people and finding people who are like themselves.
Yeah, I agree. And it's really great that you did all that research and I suppose getting real feedback and I suppose, like you say, insiders view as to what people are actually looking for, because I think you can guess, can't you? With I suppose like anything that we do, we can guess at what people may want, but actually having those conversations to understand what it is that they want. But I think that's what it comes down to. It's genuine connections. And although a lot of us now work remotely or we work hybrid or however we work, I've really seen an importance of getting out in front of people or getting out into some kind of community aspect of things, because otherwise we'll all just be like at home behind screens all day, which is good we can do that and have got the possibility to do it, but it's probably not so good from a human well-being point of view, is it?
I think, you know, if you look at the statistics today of the dramatic rise in loneliness, and the two biggest groups are 18 to 25-year-olds and people in their 40s to early 60s.
Wow.
It is very strongly then linked with mental fitness.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not, this is what I mean, they're not in isolation of each other, these four dimensions. They're very closely interlinked, and one can influence another. And a positive, bringing together a positive experience in one of those aspects then has its knock-on effect on another. And I think, you know, where we've sort of all got used to having our WhatsApp groups, or, you know, we've got so many connections, that's okay, but it's actually not enough for most people. And particularly in this cohort, for a lot of people, what I found was there's this sense of, well, who is my community now? My community, my tribe, that was maybe I had a relevance and connection to in my 20s and 30s. My life's changed, like from a work or, you know, personal perspective. How do I find a community of people like me?
Yeah, which I think is really important. And for you personally, what made you step into building a startup at this stage of your career? So, is what motivated you or inspired you to do it?
I suppose it's from having the experience myself. So I'm the sort of lived experience of what I'm creating. So my husband and I have lived and worked abroad for the last 8 years and came back to the UK in October. And the last place where we lived was Auckland, which was fantastic, but is very much a closed community. I suppose, you know, you're an island in the middle of nowhere. It is very much, it's all about who you know, and you've known, and it's sort of 1 degree of separation. And there, we're landing there and having to establish ourselves, which we're used to doing. We've traveled a lot in our life together. But I got to this point, I had finished, the first time we went to New Zealand, we were sponsored because of my work. And the next time we went down, it was driven by my husband's work. And after doing a sabbatical cover for one of the big four, I found myself really struggling to find ways and get traction of how to use the wisdom that I'd created and built throughout my executive and consulting career to be able to leverage it in that market. And I got to a point of, am I going to be able to actually open a door? I'd had so many doors that sort of moved ajar, but then sort of closed. And I thought, for whatever reason, I got to this point of like, you know, enough's enough. I'm going to use my wisdom in a fundamentally different way, but relevant way. And so I started off looking at purpose and identity, but doing that work on myself. And then thought, well, this stage in your life is not just about your work and how you spend your time, rethinking that, but there's these other dimensions. I'm somebody that's very much into their physical wellness. So I saw that making a lot of sense of, you know, how I feel different when I'm exercising and my body feels good. And then how that affects my mental fitness, mental health. And so I looked at, well, okay, I'm going to bring these dimensions together from my desk research, I couldn't see a brand that's doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said a bit earlier, the connection part, the social well-being, came from that early insight work that I did.
Yeah, that's really
And
good.
so that was the sort of the springboard. I'd say it's scary.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a typical founder in terms of my age, but there's stats that show that, you know, people starting businesses, founding businesses when they're older, they have a very strong conversion rate in terms of
Yeah.
business success. And I thought, well, I've run innovation businesses, business practices. I've done it in the corporate world. So I know how to do it from experience. So why can't I now do it for myself?
Yeah, that's exactly that. And I had someone else on my podcast a couple of months ago, and she was actually saying similar, that like as you create business, you know, towards, you know, a different stage of your career, if you've got more experience, she's, you know, from stats and research herself, she said it's that the success rate is actually far greater because you've got the experience, you've got the lessons, you've got the knowledge to apply. Which, not saying people of different generations can't do it, but generally you've got more to start with, or more kind of experience skills to already go into business with.
I mean, I've got to prove the stat, but the
Yeah.
stat is that, and I like the sound of it, that 70% of businesses that are founded by people over 50 actually succeed. So
Love that.
I'm hoping I'm going to be in the 70%.
You will be. And maybe, and it could come down to being more like intentional and as well, and knowing more kind of about what you want, what you're trying to do, and but yeah, you definitely will. And with what you're doing, I know we've kind of touched on it and how important it is to make sure that you've got the hybrid model, but how did you come up with the pillars of making sure that you've obviously got the digital element, but make sure you've got the physical, like well-being, human kind of in-person element? How have you come up with that? And was that from research? Was that from realizing, actually, I need not just this, we need this as well to be successful, to be happy at this as a human, but at that, you know, the different stages of your career?
I think, to be honest, it started off with, okay, this is my hypothesis.
Yeah.
Let's say that I think you need we could call it a multi-channel strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Probably 15 months ago, I didn't really know very much about AI. ChatGPT was the copy machine.
Yeah.
And then I decided I'm really going to understand that space. I think that's one of the things of when you're getting into what I call phase 2 or midlife. It's so important to ensure you remain relevant.
Yeah.
And obviously there's been a lot written, a lot being said on podcasts, is like, it's about whether you embrace the AI, that you're going to be on one side of that wall or the other.
Yeah.
And I decided that I really wanted to get into that AI world.
Yeah.
And so it's something that I've really committed myself to over the last 15 months. And as I sort of got myself immersed in it, I thought, well, actually, I believe it needs to be a combination of the two, which is now what everybody is talking about. It's not one or other, and it's not AI is going to take over all of us, but it's how do you integrate the two aspects, the human and the agent. And so I decided that was going to be a core aspect within phase 2, is the blending of the AI and the human expertise, where the human's got that rich wisdom from experience and, you know, the empathy, which I know is meant to be coming in time with AI, but at the moment, you know, that human touch. And the physical dimension, I suppose, is because that's actually very important to me, that sort of physical touch.
Yeah.
And I feel that in terms of a brand experience, it's a way of bringing your brand to life. You know, it's what a lot of retailers are doing. They're using their store as the brand experience even though a lot of the purchasing is done online. I mean, for many of them, that is part of their marketing budget today, is the retail store.
Yeah, I think because it's changed, hasn't it? Now with a lot of people using digital, using online to purchase or to have an app or to do X, Y, Z. It's more about that experience, isn't it, and how they feel, what they're getting from it, and yeah, that makes total sense.
And sort of with the AI app, AI very much fueled app, which is the starting point.
Yeah,
I'm looking at this as being designed by me for me. So it's very much tailored the experience by the individual.
yeah,
Whereas if you're sort of thinking of, apps today predominantly, or sort of wearables, it's all decided what your experience is going to be. And it's more push and pull. It's communication that is one way, principally data, could be content. But what I'm building is more in this sort of, it's conversation, it's two-way, it's dynamic, and it's always on. It's on when you want it to be, not
that's
I'm
amazing.
going to put those content feeds when they're pushed out to me. This is totally defined by me as the experience I want to have.
Yeah, which I think is what people are looking for, isn't it? That kind of to be relevant and tailored to them, rather than it feel like, oh, I'm being pushed into like this, space that I don't even want this, or this isn't really for me. So I think that relevancy and feeling connected and feeling like that, it's for them is really important.
So I think personalization is sort of on steroids today,
Yeah,
whether it's semi-personalization or we call it tailoring. I need it to fit with me rather than me fitting around it.
yeah, I agree. And I just suppose want to talk around a little bit about misconceptions of what people think. So a lot of people, and I hope this is now changing, and from conversations I'm having, it does seem to be changing, but a lot of people can still talk about midlife as a slowdown. And I suppose even from like a careers point of view, I know I have spoken to quite a few people throughout my own career where they find it more difficult, let's say, to get a role or to kind of stand out or to be in a position to kind of get those roles. So they've seen it more of like a slowdown, and you're building a company around it. So what would you say those people are getting wrong when it comes to their thoughts around midlife?
I don't know if I'd use the word wrong, but it's something that has always been positioned of this sort of like the midlife crisis. I read a book that went, it doesn't actually exist. There's various stages in your life when you hit these crossroads, and it isn't just driven by age, it's driven by other things that are going on around. But I think there's always been this noise of, oh, midlife, it's like you're either sort of like you're on the pile or you're close to the pile. And then this view of, well, you're losing your relevance. Then it sort of flows into, well, actually, when are you going to retire? You get into your, probably even people are going early 50s of the relevance of, well, I'm not relevant anymore. And so I think one of the important things is, how do you ensure you remain relevant, but in an authentic way? And also look at all of those skills and experience that you've picked up along the way. And this is why I like the word wisdom, that, you can't buy wisdom, and you can't get it sort of, I don't know, 5 years into your career. It's all those bumps, the highs, the lows, the things that worked, the things that didn't along your journey, that builds up that rich pool of wisdom. And then it's, how do you rethink? How do I make that relevant to the market, but actually relevant for me.
Yeah.
So I think some of it is the labeling, the problem that the label has put on midlife.
Mm.
And, a lot of people go, well, demographics, socio-demographics is not the way to define people anymore. It's your mindset and it's your lifestyle.
Totally.
And it's not about your age, that you can be switched on in your 40s and 50s. You might actually be more connected than somebody who's half your age.
Yeah, that's it. And I think you are right there where you say about it's more about mindset and how you choose to live your life or your business or your career. That's what it should be about, is kind of what you're putting out into the world, whether what you're coming to the world with. It's not just about age or anything. It shouldn't be like that now anyway. So I think it is maybe shifts in how people label different people now. It should be changing, I think.
I think there was a really interesting article the other week, a Harvard Business Review article, and said that actually the term retirement no longer really works, because a lot of people, they choose to carry on working. They redefine how work looks for them, and the role it may have in their life, and that can be as early as in their sort of mid-40s. And actually what more this phase people move into is more about flexibility and freedom, and more about taking control. And that's for me where purpose comes in. It's you own what your purpose is, rather than it being defined because I'm in midlife.
Yeah. Yeah, totally with you. But someone, I suppose, that you would call like in phase 2, who maybe they are struggling with it, so maybe they feel stuck or they feel invisible, or they just feel like, what next, or what should I be doing? Because I think there's so much out there as to what people should be doing. Where would you say they should actually start? Have you got any advice for those people that may feel like that?
I think the starting point, and was certainly mine, was actually starting with purpose.
Yeah.
Of where do I want to focus, and what do I want my life to be about? And not making it all, this is about sort of fluffy, cerebral, but actually getting to, something you can sense, and that resonates with you. I think sometimes that can be something you can work on yourself, but I think sometimes, and often, it's a case by having that conversation, that dialogue with somebody can really help you. Because I think sometimes we've been in this box for a long period of time of how we believe we're defined. For a lot of people, certainly myself, I saw my identity as defined by my role. That was my status, by my success. And then you get to a point of that no longer works. I've got to look at how I define myself maybe in a different way. Or, your definition of yourself could be through your family.
Yeah.
And when your role in that space changes, there is this sort of void of what's my purpose now. So I believe it does need to start with the looking at yourself of what am I about and what do I want to be. I think it's less about, what do I want my legacy to be, which feels like, that's just too cerebral and far out.
Yeah.
What do I want my life to be about now? And I've found with friends who've actually said to me, I don't think I've got any purpose anymore.
Oh, that's sad.
It's really sad, because I've just been at a breakfast event this morning, which was on longevity. And, everybody's talking now about the sort of the 100-year life.
Yeah.
Well, if you're in your sort of, say, late 40s,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, well, what's my purpose now? It's, you're opening up into a big period of your life. So it's actually really important to answer that question and
Yeah.
find a way through to a place that you're really comfortable with and energizes you.
Yeah. And yeah, that's really good advice. And I think, like you say, if you're feeling like that at any age, but you could get it at any age or stage of your life, it's about look at what is your purpose, but what energizes you, and try and find that, because that would help a lot.
I mean, I found in my research that, people, I don't know, they've been working 15, 20 years. And I'm like, do you know, it doesn't give me a buzz anymore.
Mm.
I know I'm going to be working for another, probably in this world now, maybe 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
I need to find something where I get a buzz again. So I think there it's not, you can't define it by a very specific age.
Yeah.
It happens a lot over 40.
Mm.
But a lot of people are actually asking that question now. I think probably because of everything that's been going on in the world, you're looking at, okay, where do I sit in this?
Mm. And I think now there's so much more exposure online to so many other
Yeah.
positions, roles, businesses, things that people can start themselves, opportunities. Whereas before, all this wasn't around. So maybe it was like, you don't know what you don't know. Whereas now, I think sharing information, being able to set something up of your own, or being able to work how you want to work, whether it's in a fractional capacity or, another type of way that feels good for you, then I think the good thing about there's obviously lots of almost like information overload for some people, which can overwhelm them. But the flip side of that is there is more out there to help people, or to give them ideas or insights into how to do things maybe differently, or be able to pivot where they need to.
I totally agree. I think it's a case of, oh, you're not defined in this box
Yeah.
anymore. And you might think you are, but you seriously don't need to be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can choose to be, or you can go, that's not how I'm going to be defined. It's not how I want to be defined and limited. And I agree with you. There are increasingly examples of people who you go, seriously? They went and did that? And it's like, well, why not?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I suppose for you, as you've worked in really senior roles, obviously globally, and you've done amazingly well throughout your career, and now you're building something new. How are you trying to stay visible and relevant while still in the early stages of building a new kind of business?
I would say I'm certainly on that journey. It's
Yeah.
not like I could go, oh, got that one sorted. I suppose because I started my career in marketing and then went into brand and brand strategy, I do think we're all brands.
Yeah.
And it's, how do you position yourself out there? For me, it's, and how do you get cut through? And so in my position, I think I see it as there's two brands. There's the SBH brand, Sarah Bolton Howard,
Mm-hmm.
and there's the phase two. And the counsel I've been given is, you need to become an authority in the space where you want phase two to be.
Yeah.
You need to have a point of view, and one that's interesting.
Yeah.
And so sort of I'd say I'm starting on that journey. I think social is really important, and it's understanding which social channels are relevant for you,
Yeah.
and also where you feel comfortable. I mean,
That's another big thing, isn't it? It's like relevancy and where you feel comfortable to show up.
yeah, and I think it's quite a scary thing. If you've never done it and you sort of think, well, really, have I got anything important to say or anything that anybody
Imposter
will
syndrome,
listen
but
to?
yeah.
And, you know, I've been amazed by some of the posts that I've done, the direct messages I've had from people. When I was looking for people that I could speak to, I put out various posts, and that's how I got these 70 people around the world. So I'd say that was more about, right, I'm nudging myself into this new space. I've got to be known for something beyond my sort of corporate credentials.
Yeah.
But I do see it as a journey. I think one of the next things I need to do, haven't done yet, is how do I get myself to be on some panels?
Yeah.
And I think the panels is a good way to then become, how can I get some speaking opportunities? And start off that they, again, it's sort of like, where do you feel comfortable? Do you start off with a small event?
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to go and jump to the sort of the mega thing if you've never done it before.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's where I'm thinking now with regard to, so it's sort of like this yin and yang of me and phase 2. I'm the face of it, so I need to have an opinion that is that I'm sharing about this space.
Yeah.
But you've got the balance of, I'm not the brand, and you will never grow a business if you are just the brand.
Yeah.
It's got to be more than the person. And sort of, I suppose why I'm saying that is I've been brought into businesses where somebody's wanted to sell a business, but their challenge has been that they are seen as the brand.
Right.
And it's like, how do I bring the credibility to the brand, but I'm not the brand?
Yeah.
And so I'm very nascent of this as I go on this journey, the balance between the two. I'd love to think I could do something like you and do a podcast.
Oh, you definitely can.
Who knows? It's
and
like,
I think there's I can't remember the exact quote or saying, but it's like you almost need to look at things, and that's why I always tell people, it's like, well, who better than me? Like, if other people can do it, why can't I do it? Because in reality, a lot of the times when it comes to, you know, visibility or speaking or podcasting or whatever it may be that you want to do, it's just someone maybe just a few steps ahead of you doing it, but nothing is perfect. And even with experience, even today with like live streaming, nothing's perfect, but it's people relate to that genuine realness of showing up as you with your experience, who you are, your personality. But that's what helped me even with getting started with this. It's like, well, if other people can do it that maybe don't even have the experience that I had, but they're just gone for it, then why can I not do that?
Yeah, and I do love podcasts.
Yeah.
I'm a big consumer of them, and I totally agree with you. It's like, it's the self-belief of, yeah, why can't I give it a go? There's plenty of other people who do, and it's not like they're perfect.
Yeah.
And there's something about the rawness of it, you know, the fact of it being real, and it hasn't been made so perfect that it's lost the, I don't know, the energy around it. So that's sort of one thing I'm mulling over. And now you're making me think, well, maybe I should give it a go. And I have thought, is there a way to get a column?
Yeah. Well, there's definitely some good ideas to explore there. And I think it just maybe even starting with one and then going from there. But I've got a segment that I want to do with you now, if that's okay. Just a little bit of fun. So it's called Brand Myth versus Brand Truth. So you just tell me if you think it's a myth or a truth, in your opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one is, you become less relevant as you get older. Is that a myth or a truth? I think I know what you're going to say to that one.
Myth.
Yeah. Well, you've kind of discussed why, but yeah, I'm totally with you on that. Second one is, building a personal brand is only for a certain type of person. Is that a myth or a truth? Do you feel like everyone has to do it?
I think it's a myth.
Okay. And the last one, AI will replace the need for human connection in well-being.
What was that again?
AI will replace the need for human connection in well-being. Do you think AI will replace it?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I think, as we've discussed, AI is great for a lot of things, but that human element is really important. So I've got one last question for you, and you've been amazing, so thank you. But if you could sit down with your younger self at the very start of your career, what would you tell her now? Have you got one sentence of advice, or something quick that you would give her in terms of advice?
Don't be restrained and limited by what you think you should do, and how success has been defined to you, but actually choose the journey that you want to go on and excites you and energizes you.
I love that. I love that a lot, and we will leave it there. But yeah, that's great advice. Is don't be defined by other people's, I suppose, expectations or other people's journey, and follow what you want to do, which I feel like you've done a lot of. So thank you so much for joining me, Sarah. What I will do as well for those that are going to listen, I know a lot of people do listen in the coming weeks and kind of watch and download. So I will be publishing more about our podcast, but also some short clips as well for those who prefer to see the content that way. So thank you everyone who's tuned in or are going to tune in, and thank you again, Sarah. You've been amazing. And if someone wants to connect with you, is the best way to do it on LinkedIn, or is there another channel that you'd prefer them to connect with you on?
LinkedIn would be best. And I just want to say thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, you're welcome. It's been lovely.
I was really touched,
and really insightful as well. And I think I love like being able to motivate people at different stages of their life, because there's so many opportunities now, regardless whether you're starting out, whether you've got more experience, whether you're confused in the mid journey. There's so many options now that it's helping people to navigate those options and feeling good and purposeful as well.
I've loved it. Thank you so much.
Me too. Well, thank you, Sarah, and I will speak to you soon. But everyone else that has tuned in, thank you again, and I will see you all for the next one. Thank you. Bye bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye bye.